Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin John's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Monday, August 19th, 2019. Ticket sales for WWE's upcoming Raw and SmackDown Live events at Madison Square Garden have been disappointing. With sales for SmackDown in particular being low, WWE has announced The Undertaker for the show on September 10th. The WWE stated today The Undertaker will journey to SmackDown Live at New York City's Madison Square Garden on September 10th for the first time ever, beginning at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Combination and individual event tickets for the back-to-back Raw and SmackDown Live shows are available now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss your opportunity to see the Dead Man rise again when the Blue Brand returns to the world's most famous arena. And I gotta say, folks, in the 20 plus years that I've been a professional wrestling fan, I have never heard of WWE having problems selling out Madison Square Garden. WWE star Kalisto indicated on Twitter that he has 10 months left on his contract and used the hashtag free agent hashtag. Kalisto ended up deleting the tweet. Grand Metalik and Braun Strowman also responded to Kalisto's tweet. Grand Metalik said, "Me too," and Braun Strowman tweeted, hashtag adios. During an appearance on Busted Open Radio this morning, Chris Jericho talked about the news regarding WWE moving NXT to USA and making the show 2 hours. Chris Jericho said, "There's too much WWE as it is. Adding another 2 hours is a reactionary move that dilutes their product. It's done by a guy who wants to start a war. There's no war for us." And staying on the topic of NXT and USA, the current belief is that WWE will be announcing NXT's move to the USA Network on tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Brian Alvarez of F4WOnline.com provided some details and insight regarding the announcement. Brian Alvarez said, "The fact that they're doing it tonight probably tells me that they already have a start date, and the start date is probably going to be before AEW starts on TNT. So we're all going to know during Raw, but the fact of the matter is it looks to be NXT 2 hours on the USA Network." Now, based on other things that we're told, I think now Dave Meltzer does not believe this, but I think they're going to be doing an every other week schedule. I think they're going to be going live for the following week taped. They'll go live in the following week taped. Now, if they do tape shows and they get obliterated or get beaten by AEW, they will be going live every week. Hunter told people things that gave me the impression that they're going to be going live every other week and taping right after the live show or something like that. You're going to get Vince McMahon's NXT. There's going to be main roster guys on NXT. There's going to be the USA Network crossover. I mean, what do you think's going to happen on the USA Network when Raw superstars and SmackDown superstars are facing off against NXT stars? I mean, who do you think's winning those matches? I mean, this is going to be totally different. I mean, everything's different. Everything's changing, and it's sad. This is a war, don't get me wrong. But in 1995, Eric Bischoff, he fired the first shot. He wanted Nitro against Raw, and he wanted the war, and we're talking about Vince McMahon here. He wanted a war. Now, this is a wrestling war, but this is different. I'm going to tell you why it's different. I've talked to people in All Elite Wrestling. I've talked to people in the World Wrestling Entertainment. And yes, Nick Jackson sent out a tweet a little while ago saying bring it on. They're ready for this. They're ready for a war. They know what they're getting into. The reality is that there's one guy who's all gung-ho crazy about having a war, and it ain't Tony Khan. It's not Chris Jericho. It's not Cody. It's not the Bucks. It's not Triple H. It's Vince. Brian Alvarez continued on by saying, "I have heard from people on both sides. This is not just the AEW side. This is the WWE side as well. These people are like, really? Do you know how much this sucks to be in WWE and be a production person?" Thanks to RingsideNews.com for the quotes. Also, another interesting note about All Elite Wrestling, Tony Schiavone has reportedly come to terms with AEW. PWInsider.com is reporting that WWE also had interest in Schiavone as late as Wednesday, but he ended up taking the AEW deal on Thursday. Schiavone is expected to continue his obligations to Major League Wrestling as well. Also, AEW announced that the October 23rd edition of AEW on TNT will take place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the Peterson Event Center. The arena holds 12,508 seats. And also the October 30th edition of AEW on TNT will take place at the Charleston Coliseum in Charleston, West Virginia. The arena holds 14,000 seats. If I can, I'm definitely going to try to go to the Charleston, West Virginia show. I would love to go to that. The Rock announced on Instagram that he got married to his longtime girlfriend Lauren Hashon over the weekend. The Rock tweeted a photo of them in Hawaii and wrote underneath it, "We do, August 18th, 2019, Hawaii. Blessed." A big congratulations out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his brand new wife, Lauren. I wish you guys many, many years of health, happiness, and joy. And finally, here on Jammin' John's Wrestling News, it is now time to announce the results of our latest special subscriber poll. That poll being, who is your pick to become King of the Ring? And with 1 vote Cesaro, 1 vote Ricochet, and 1 vote Samoa Joe, it's a tie. Patreon subscriber Tony Nelson commented, "There are so many great options that would be fantastic to win. That makes this year's tournament very exciting. I'm going to pick Ricochet so he can play up more of his indie personality, King Ricochet. I wouldn't be disappointed with most of the options." Gotta definitely agree there. I think Ricochet would make a great King of the Ring winner, as well as Cesaro, and I personally think Samoa Joe. Can you imagine King Joe? That would be pretty cool. It's now time to take a look at the latest special subscriber poll that you subscribers can vote on. That poll is, are you excited for NXT possibly moving to the USA Network? Yes, no, or indifferent. You can go vote right now at patreon.com/JamminJohn if you're a subscriber. That is your news for Monday, August 19th, 2019. Check back here tomorrow for another Jammin' John's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, and Player FM. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, The Jammin' John. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin' John's Wrestling News or your wrestling promotion, wanting to get your next big event out, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle and Tony Nelson for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/JamminJohn. I have free packages on there ranging from free to $7, and I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/JamminJohn. This is Jammin' John saying thanks, goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.